Well, welcome to Cord Art, and I haven't done a video for a little while, so I thought I'd put something out. This one isn't all that complicated. It's basically making paracord cloth, as I call it. I mean, there's sometimes when you need to make something to fill in. It's like, how do you go about making, I know the light's not very good on here, but the, see if we, maybe let's turn it away. Yeah, how do you get this effect on the hat, on this figure, or his shirt sleeves, or his trouser legs? You could do it conventionally, tie a knot up something around it. This is a bit more awkward. I wanted to be a bit more exact with this. So I've started making quite a long time ago paracord cloth. I mean, there's the red that I've woven. I've still got a little bit left, thank goodness. It takes quite a while, but it's not all that hard to do. That was the yellow for his hat, so we cut a section out and formed that. Bits of black that I use. Well, I'm going to do some black today actually, because the black I need, you can see that it's been cut out curved. I need the tails to Jiminy Cricket. I'm halfway through making a Jiminy Cricket, so he needs a jacket, and I'll make it in two halves, and they're sort of like the opposite of this shape, if you see what I mean. And it comes round and down and back around, sort of thing. A lot of fussing about making the actual jacket, but to actually make the paracord cloth, which people have asked me to make or show how to make, is what we're going to do today. So if I put those bits out of the way, I did start it to make some black for this Jiminy Cricket, and I thought, well, no, that I could actually do the tutorial. Now that looks a bit odd, but all that is a piece of board. I'll grab a tape measure. It can be any size you want, the board, depending on how much of this paracord cloth that you want to make. I mean, I know that this is enough for me to actually make this jacket. So I've got one here, what, 7 inches long, which is 180 mil, I think, 180 mil, and then we've got 3 inches wide, which is ample for what I need, and that's basically 80 mil, and it's a very thin piece of floorboarding, really, you know, cheap wood. But I've put a pencil along the side. I've just taped this pencil along the side because that gives us a little bit of leeway towards the end of the project. I've super glued a piece of cord. Now I've got 20 feet. I can't, it's gutted 550 black. Now I can't remember how long I need to have it, but certainly the other, as I say, I've made this 20 feet so far. I can always join a bit more onto it. You do more than 20 feet and it gets a little bit sort of unwieldy. So what I'm going to do is put a fid on the end of this. See if we can find a reasonable fid. Well, we'll put that one on there. I'm not particularly keen on this fid because it's too sharp and it catches up on things, but we'll leave it on there for the moment. Or will we? Yeah, we'll leave it on there for the moment. Now, getting back to making this, we've got this pencil just stuck on there. Don't worry about that for the moment. We got 20 feet of cord gutted. Just super glued it on top of there. Okay, you could tape it on there with a piece of this tape. I did that just a minute ago, and with a bit of this tape, but it came undone, so I super glued it. So we want to actually wrap around first this way, fairly neat. Yeah, but rest assured the amount of times we go along here has got to be sorry, I'll lower a bit. The amount of times that we go around this piece of board this way has got to be an odd number to actually make this work. So that's 1. Now I like to leave a little bit of a gap between each, not too much. So that's 1, 2, 2 on the back, 3. You can see that there's a gap between each of them. Nothing too thin or thick, or wide, should we say. That's 3. It doesn't have to be extremely tight, this, at the moment. A little bit of give is quite good, and that's the reason that I've got that pencil there for when we go around the other way. Is taking it all apart, it comes out a lot better if we've got that pencil. Try not to twist the cord. I don't think this 20 feet is going to be enough, but I don't mind a join in it. Just have to pick where you want the join. We're basically just going to weave this backwards and forwards. We'll get one more, I think. If it's not odd, then I'll rethink this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Don't want 12. I can either add another one, just bunch this up a little bit, which I think I'll do that. So that's 12. Hopefully I've got 13 now. Just double check this. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Yeah, we got 13 there. 13 strands going down my piece of wood. So now we've got to go round at an angle. It's got to go round here without, let's think about this. Let's put a piece of tape on there, stop it falling off. Yeah. And then we want to bring it round like so. So that's stopping it from all unraveling. I'm just going to straighten this. Yeah, we got nowhere near enough at 20 feet, but not to worry. Right, so now we've got that fixed there. We're going to take it round to the side and just weave it under, over, all the way down. I'm not going to show the whole exercise. I think you can see where I'm going with that. So that's over, under. You can see if you've got a sharp fid, you could start damaging the cords. So I'll probably change my fid to one that's got a round nose on it. Just get that one underneath there. And the fid's too, not the best fid in the world. And it's slid off. Right. So we've got to get it without any twist in it. What I usually do, there is a twist there, so I'll take that round, untwist it, and take the twist through like so. Yeah. So we got the pencil incorporated. We're going to bring that one up to there. We're going to go right the way round and do exactly the same again, over and under, and carry on like that. I'm going to do 2 or 3 inches of this, and I'll come back to you. Welcome back. Oh, you can see I've done a couple of inches down this piece of wood of the weaving. Now I would like to sort of recap a little bit, because I showed you doing my first weave and I went under, over, under, over, under, over, ended up with an under. So when I turn round, the next one we do is an over, yeah, then over, under, over, under, and then it becomes the norm, because when you actually go around that side, you can see that you need to go under or over by looking at the previous one, yeah. So what I'm actually doing, I'll show you. Can you notice as well, you know I had the pencil taped in 3 places, 1, 2, 3. I've actually slit the tape either side on the top one. I mean, these cords are holding it now. As I get down further, I'll cut through those and cut through those. The idea is that once we actually got it all complete, we can push the pen down through and it gives us a gap that end to be able to maneuver the board out of the cord. But that's for later. I'll show you what we do there later, but just be observant that I've actually cut both sides of that piece of tape. So we've got a piece of tape on the board and a piece of tape on the pencil that aren't connected. So I've just ended up with an over. So I'm going round to the back as we see it. You can see I've got very little cord left after just an inch, so I'm going to need at least another 20 feet of it. So I've gone, so that one, the previous one was under, so it's over, under, over, can we see? Yeah, we're online, over, and I get to about that position. You can see that I've got a fid there that's nice and rounded off now. So we ended up with it under there, so it's over, under, over, under, and bring it to there. Now before we pull too much through, which I did, I like to maneuver the cord so that I know that it hasn't got any twist in it. Put a bit of a, see if we can sort this out and show you. So I get a nice piece of cord there, got a loop there. I've pinched it between my finger and thumb. This is now going to pull through. I'm pressing here, which makes the twist go through as I pull it, I hope. Yeah, so we've got it like so. That's starting to bend down, so I'm just bringing it up, give it a bit of a tug, and we're on to the next part. Yeah, just spend a bit of time every so often matching it up. So I'm going to now go all the way down there, get to the end, and I'll come back to you then. Welcome back. As you can see, I've completed that all the way down now. I'm quite pleased with it. The only thing that's gone wrong is I can't get my pencil out. I've tried pushing it through and it's just not having it. It's not the end of the world. I mean, if I could have actually pushed that through, that would have given me a lot of slack. The piece of wood inside would have moved about a bit. But now we've got to remove it. It was always going to be that we cut it with a Stanley knife. But if I was just to take the Stanley knife and slit it down like so, it would just go poof, all over the place. So we've got to retain it. And what I'm going to do is put super glue all the way around the edges. Now I'm going to put it around this edge. I'm not going to put it where the pencil is, because I'm going to end up putting a Stanley knife through there. So if I actually super glue each cord all the way down, yeah, along that way as well, along that way, along there, and along there, along there, I can cut along the edges of those 3 sides. This will leave this as a gap between the 2, and I can then weave through, and you can complete the 2 sides, so it becomes one. What I'll do is I'll super glue around now offline, then we'll cut it together and I'll show you what I mean. Well, I've super glued all the way along here, along here, along here, the same the other side, there, there and there. I've not super glued anything to do with just the blank end because I'm hoping to put some more stitches through there. So now the idea is that with a Stanley knife we can actually cut down this edge, that edge and that edge, and it will remain in shape. I'm hoping that it's not going to stick too much to the piece of wood. Once I've done that, I'll come back and show you what we're going to do to put a few extra stitches along the back end. Well, there we are. I've managed to cut around the edges and then peel it off so that we've got one section. Now the center section looks a little bit iffy, but what you can actually do, well, I've got enough there now to actually make the coat that I want, but if you wanted to, you could now get hold of your fid and go the opposite to this one, is up and down sort of thing, and you could actually fill in that gap. Now, how do you use the stuff? Well, again, it's all down to super glue. What I would actually do is, what I've done in the past is that section goes onto there like so, yeah. I would mark out round here, this is the bit that I want. Let's make it look a little bit better so they can see what I mean. I only want one layer of this for each side of the coat, so I would actually put that one onto there like so, mark it round. I would then, where I've got the mark, put a trail of super glue along the threads so that when I cut it like that, this has got super glue on it, when I cut it, it's going to stay in shape, and the parts that we need will then go on to our Jiminy Cricket, as I say, 2 halves to his coat sort of thing. It's got to have a bit of shaping done to it. It's got to have a piece of, once I've got the shape, there would be a piece of cord glued to it to make it look like the edge of the coat, something like that, yeah. So that's about it really. I mean, it's a bit haphazard. I do like to weave through there, so I've got an option. I'll probably do that in a minute. I'll weave through there a couple of times so that it's a continuous piece, but there's no need for me to do that. I've got enough on each side to make part of the coat that I want. The pencil trick does work. I've used it in the past. I've also used the pencil like so, and then another pencil like so. The base, obviously you can pull the pencil out there and it gives you slack, and you can then cut along it. After you know, obviously you've got to think about it all springing to bits, so there's super glue involved again. But yeah, that's quite good. I'm quite pleased with that. Hope you've enjoyed this. Don't know if it's of any use to you, because I mean, my style of doing things is a little bit different from most others, but yeah, that's how I make the stuff. See you soon. Bye. So yeah, I couldn't leave it as it was, so yeah, I've now woven in and the two sides have all come together, so I'm really pleased with that. I can actually work out what I want to use at my discretion. But that's definitely video over. Cheers.